ASMR gaming news. Sit back, relax. Let's begin. Nintendo has issued a statement this week saying that they will no longer be stocking and shipping Wii U consoles in Europe. Retailers will no longer be able to order new Wii U shipments after the 30th of September. Nintendo could possibly be doing this because the Nintendo NX announcement is just around the corner. So it makes sense that they would stop providing shipments for a console that they no longer intend to support, possibly. Nintendo this week accidentally released Paper Mario Color Splash on the Wii U early. This was caused by a preload, pre-order feature on the Nintendo Wii U eShop. People were able to pre-order the game and then download it immediately after. This was an error that Nintendo fixed shortly after, but a handful of people managed to download the game. And since they purchased the game, Nintendo can't actually make them not play it, so there are spoilers out there and people posting gameplay videos, so be careful. Sony announced the PlayStation Experience event that will take place in December 3rd to December 4th in Anaheim, California. Tickets are currently up for purchase right now. They will be talking about the PlayStation 4 Pro, PlayStation VR, and the future of the PlayStation 4. Sony's former exec, Jack Tretton, recently admitted that they made a mistake with the PlayStation 3 launching at $599 US. They also talked about the PlayStation Vita and how it was too late for it to be a success and the market shifted, and it's one of the reasons why it failed to meet the levels of success that the PSP had. The PSP is a very good system, by the way. I believe it sold about 65 million. Don't quote me on that. But it rivaled Nintendo DS very well. Whereas the PlayStation Vita fell very short of this, and the Nintendo 3DS far outsold it. Ubisoft's, or Ubisoft's, it's a word that I slightly mispronounce sometimes. I know it's Ubiquitous Games, and it's supposed to be pronounced Ubisoft. But every once in a while, I will say Ubisoft. But yeah, it's Ubisoft. Michael Ansel teased a possible Beyond Good and Evil 2 game announcement. Now, the Beyond Good and Evil game was a sort of like cult hit back when it released on the PlayStation 2 and GameCube. A number of people enjoyed the game, and it enjoyed moderate success, I'd say, in the following years. It also got an HD version on the PlayStation 3 and other systems. And people have been waiting for a sequel for a very long time. So the possibility of a sequel is a big deal. There have been rumors that the Nintendo NX will have Beyond Good and Evil 2 as a launch window title or as a system exclusive. So let's just see what happens in the coming months, since we don't have any official news right now. It was revealed that Destiny 2 is going to try to aim for a new audience when it launches in 2017. This piece of news has been confirmed by multiple inside sources. So I believe that previously with Destiny, they decided to target the shooter crowd, like the gaming public that would enjoy games like Halo, Call of Duty, and Battlefield, styles, those type of games. And it would seem that they plan to target a new demographic of gamers with the sequel. So I'm curious to see just how they will mix things up a bit. Much like the NES Classic, this week Japan got an announcement for a Famicom Mini. Now, the NES, as it was known in North America and in Europe, is of course the Nintendo Entertainment System. But Japan had the Famicom system. The Famicom is basically just a Nintendo Entertainment System. But they had a different style model for the console. It was white and red, whereas America, we received a gray and a slightly lighter color gray color scheme for the NES. So Japan will be receiving an NES Classic Mini, their own version, which is the Famicom, and it comes with a few new games. Their version of the Famicom will come with Final Fantasy III and River City Ransom. These are two games that we will not be receiving on our version of the NES Classic Mini. A little disappointing. Final Fantasy III and River City Ransom are very good games, but we get some games that Japan does not get, so we get some good stuff either way, so that's still nice. Microsoft added the amazing Xbox 360 RPG Lost Odyssey in backwards compatibility support for the Xbox One this week. For those that don't know, the Xbox One has a backwards compatibility feature where you can play certain Xbox 360 titles on it. Lost Odyssey was a game developed by Mistwalker, which is Hironobu Sakaguchi's studio. He's in charge of lots of the earlier Final Fantasy games, and basically worked on most of them from Final Fantasy 1 to Final Fantasy 10, and he eventually left the company and started Mistwalker. Lost Odyssey is a very good RPG, and I highly suggest you check it out if you have an Xbox One or Xbox 360. It's Castlevania's 30th anniversary this week. Wow. This Konami series is still considered to be one of the best, I'd say, Metroidvania type games. I mean, it started the genre with its game Symphony of the Night on the PlayStation 1, and some of its games on the NES and Super Nintendo are classics. Castlevania, the first game, and Castlevania 3 on the NES are fondly remembered games. So yeah, 30 years, wow. Trails in the Sky, a Japanese role-playing game published by Exceed in Europe, was removed from the PlayStation Store this week. It was just abruptly moved, and it's because a licensing publishing contract expired. So, a similar thing happened with their game Dragon's Crown previously. I believe it was localized by Atlas, I think it was localized by Atlas, but either way, Dragon's Crown was also pulled from the PlayStation Network, I heard, in Europe. Now, this type of news makes me a little worried about the future of digital games, because it seems that in various countries, games licenses expire and they're just removed from the store. So that's really disappointing if you plan on buying a game and then you can't buy it anymore. So I hope they find some way to resolve that, because people won't be able to play the sequels if they can't get access to the first game. PlayStation Plus, October's games have been announced, and they are Resident Evil 1 remake for the PlayStation 4 and Transformers Devastation for the PlayStation 4. These are quite possibly the best PlayStation Plus games that have been offered this year. Really good titles, and I'm happy that it seems that Sony is finally starting to offer some good games. If you have a PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Plus subscription, be sure to pick up these games. Geek news for the week. Square announced that Final Fantasy, the card trading game, will arrive in both North America and in Europe on October 28th. It's really interesting to see a Final Fantasy trading card game. I might pick it up. The Netflix series for the Marvel character Luke Cage premiered, and I plan on watching the entire series, so I'm really glad that came out. I enjoyed both Daredevil seasons on Netflix, and I enjoyed Jessica Jones, so I look forward to see what they did with Luke Cage. Well, that's all for this week, and if you have any comments or news that you want me to cover for next week, just tweet me at ASMR Gaming News, or just post it in the comments of this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. Hope to see you all next time. So long.